Welcome to another edition of Why Come Japan. I'm your host, Mr. Radbury, where I interview creatives about their craft and how it relates to Japan. And today on my show is Apokalypse34. I'd like to do introductions, but maybe you could do a better introduction of yourself.
So, for people that don't know who I am, I started out back in YouTube back in 2007, and it got me to do, cover the Japanese heavy metal scene because there wasn't a lot of people actually covering it, even whether it was in Osaka or Tokyo, Sapporo, or wherever. And I really got into it, and I guess I was, so to speak, one of the go-to guys. And for the past 15 years, I've been, steadily, about a decade, I've been making a documentary on the Japanese heavy metal scene that is away from the visual K and, that type of metal.
All right.
Not knocking it, but for the underground bands like Outrage United, like a lot of the thrash metal bands that started back in 1983 and on, and some of the newer bands are into the screen side. So I want to call myself a journalist, maybe just
Apokalypse34, the journalist. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't done any of that in a long ass time since out of high school, and that was very short-lived.
Because I've always known you as your name came up Apokalypse34 because you always came up in the comments. You were somebody who was in the Japan J-vlogging community back in 2009, but you didn't live in Japan. Yeah. How did you even get associated with any of us? Like, Hiko Simon, Give Me a Break Man, Betamax DC, if anybody remembers that name. It's good to see him back on Twitter. What's that?
How did I still talk to him, DC. We're actually talking about doing another collab. Good friend, good guy. How I got involved into it, obviously, I was really wrapped up in just watching videos on Japan because I wanted to go. Because back in high school, I picked up a magazine called Metal Maniacs, and I was searching for metal bands wherever, and I actually found artist, which became my friend later on, from Japan, and I'm like, oh, Japan has metal. Okay, cool.
What artist is this?
Wrapped up.
What artist is this?
The artist. I'm sorry. That band was called Color Flash.
Okay. You found out about them through a magazine, right? Yep.
It started from that, and then I started searching through MySpace, and I stumbled on YouTube because I'm like, band Survive, and Outrage came up, and I can see the music videos. That's pretty cool. And I just went on YouTube about 2005 or 6, somewhere around there. And then in 2007, I started watching Tokyo Swan, Roger.
Wait, so your gateway drug into the Japan vlogging community was Roger Swan?
And Cooney.
Which one came first, Cooney or Swan?
If I had to really trace it back, I think it was Cooney. Kevin.
Okay.
And it was right after.
Right. Well, I mean, Cooney was like abroad in Japan before there was abroad in Japan, so. And
yeah,
imagine
Sorry.
You definitely what? Continue.
No, I definitely liked his vibe with it. No bullshit kind of dude, but he enjoyed what he was doing. And I definitely dug his sarcasm in the videos because I am very sarcastic sometimes. And with that, it opened the door watching his videos. I'm like, oh, there's something interesting happening over there besides the metal scene. And made me want to learn the language.
And that's when you kind of discovered the rest of us through Cooney, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. There was a collab that happened. I think he put up something about doing a collab, and this was around when Tatatron, if some people actually remember, he was gaining speed where he was doing videos every day. And Betamax DC came in there, and I was like, all right. I shot it on a really shitty $50 cam, and just started getting involved. I was like, okay, I guess I am a J vlogger because I tend to talk about the Japanese scene and just vlog about it, whether tagging or doing response videos. Like I did one, I'm Batman to Air Search 6. And, I was like, oh, this is cool. Maybe I'll actually do the vlogging thing. And then I just got into it.
Huh. All right. Yeah. I remember talking to a couple of people, like, I think it was Unrested, actually, who was, fun fact, he's going to be the next guest on the show next weekend. But I was talking to Unrested, Scott, and he was telling me that, like, we were talking about, like, we thought you would never come to Japan, but you eventually made it, right? Yeah. I remember we met IRL.
Twice.
You've been there twice. All right. And how long were you there for?
People were doubting it. Then, to everyone that doubted it, whether it was ill will or whatever, whatever. I know you guys didn't mean ill will, but I did go. Okay, so the first time I was like, well, I was going through some shit, and I was like, I need to take a chance. If it doesn't work out, at least I know I took the chance, and I can look back as a learning experience, and which I did. To make that happen, I actually, in 2 weeks, just to get the money for the plane ticket and everything, 1 week I worked 90 hours, and then the following week 60. So, and right after I got that check, bought the plane ticket, bought everything I needed, and then flew out next couple of weeks after I got the cameras in the mail. I was using a Canon T2i. I know everyone probably shit on me for that, but
I doubt most people don't even know what that is.
Yeah, but this time, back in October, I did it with a 70D and fucking amazing footage. I was using a Rokon, I think it was a 14 millimeter. It was 14 focal length. Anyways,
okay.
I'm not the greatest on that jargon. I just knew it was a great lens, which I filmed a lot of footage. But it goes to show you, hearing a lot of people doubted it and would happen. And I heard from people, they're like, are you really? At least they were honest, but at the end of the day, if you want to make something happen, fuck the naysayers, and just go for it. If there's anyone that's listening and you're trying to figure out what you want to fucking go for it.
Right. Well, I mean, coming here is not an easy feat. I mean, it's pretty freaking far, Yeah,
it really is.
So, I mean, I congratulate anybody who gets this far, because most people who come here either they're in the military or they become an English teacher, or I guess, like in your case, you came here on vacation, right?
Yeah, the first time 3 months.
3 months? I thought like the tourist visa is only good for like a month, isn't it?
No, 90 days. US
90. Oh, okay, 90 days. All right, shows you what I know.
So I was like, I just went for it because I quit my job and I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew I needed to start filming, move forward, and some of the bands I didn't get a chance to film. At that time, I built relationships when I was there. When I came back, literally, they didn't know when I was coming, and I kind of showed up, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to show up. I'll see you at this venue. I think it is down at Kawasaki. A lot of the bands, and I'm like, hey, you want to do an interview? And I paid for the ticket, and thanks to the bands helping me get the ticket because I was overseas and I couldn't get it, and I didn't miss out when I got there, and the tickets sell out. That would just suck. But all the bands, the promoters were fucking amazing. They helped me out, going through backstage and talking to a lot of these bands. And right now, we're in the mix of getting some old footage that's been on VHSs from bands from Nagoya, obviously Tokyo, and other places, which I can't speak on right now because I want some surprises to happen when this is released.
Okay. How long have you been working on this documentary? It sounds like you've been working on it for quite some time. Yeah,
and a lot of people don't understand. I imagine you would because you're a filmmaker too. People are like, when's it?
Filmmaker. You know? Yeah, go on.
Well, why? Well,
no, I'm talking about myself. I'm not talking about you. I mean, some movies are like Boyhood. They take 10 years to freaking make, so I know how it is.
Well, you're still doing it, so
I guess so.
Matters if they're fun. Even though sometimes it's a pain in the ass. This documentary has not been a pain in the ass. But to get back, I talked about like maybe 15 years ago.
Okay.
And I was talking to some bands about it, and it all stemmed from, I found my video, one of my videos was on a Chinese forum. Someone translated it, where I was talking about a Japanese band, and I was like, wow, people are actually listening to me, and they're like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. Like, I had no idea about this band. And I'm like, maybe I should just do it, you know? Is that and the combo of listening to Kevin Smith say, just go out, pick up a camera, see how far you can go. Just do it.
Right. Well, and wait a minute. What year did you start making this? Or, like, from what year did you, like, become inspired? You have to think about that, huh?
Yeah, I didn't. I know it's been 15 years. I can't.
15 years? Okay, wow, that's quite some time. All right. I know you said 15 years earlier, but I'm like, I thought that was about something else. All right.
Yeah, but actively filming it steadily and coordinating everything, maybe 12 years, where it's like on and off actually filming.
Yeah,
I've interviewed like bands like Napalm Death from the UK. I wasn't in the UK; it was here in Connecticut. Suffocation from New York. If anyone's a big metalhead, or into death metal, they'll know that name. They're legends in the community, and just talking to international bands like Melissa Wade, well, American too. Where we were all talking about how people see the Japanese scene like over there, because you see so many people talk about touring there, and they're like, oh, everyone's silent and respectful, which is totally true, but they don't talk about how crazy the pits can be and how much spirit is in the metal community, even though a lot of them say it's pretty small. And I want to shine light on that. So cool to have all these bands that want to talk about it, talk about the bands that they toured with, that they dig. Even with the all-female grindcore band, like you'll find FID, Flagellate, Indecracity, in Dilapidation. To like younger death metal slam guys from Nagoya that were in high school when they made their first album, Hostile Eyes. You know, it's pretty amazing, like, what's going on over there. So
Let me ask you something.
Just to get back. Huh?
Right. Well, thoughts on Babymetal? You know Babymetal, right?
Yes. Actually, funny story. This was back in Shibuya. I was at Izakaya right after a show. It was like for Serenity and Murder, Migrant Moon, a couple other bands, and Ghouls Attack. I remember them. And we went to Izakaya, and I missed the last train. And at that time, I didn't know where I could go, and they're like, "Hey, come with us. We'll go to Izakaya, get some food." And one of them, I believe, not from that band or those bands, one of the people that were there was a drummer at the time with Babymetal. So it's kind of interesting.
So I take it you're a fan of Babymetal, then.
I'm not like uberly. Excuse me one moment. I gotta put this on a charger.
Yeah, no worries. You're outside, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
The background.
I like how we can hear the birds. If anybody gets that reference.
Oh, I wish DC was on this. That was the plan.
I should probably explain. I think it's, well, what did they say? Like, explaining a joke's like dissecting a frog. You may learn something, but a frog dies in the process. But I don't know. Maybe it'd be funny with context still. Supposedly, Michael here, he made a vlog where he was like up at like some really because you're always up. Like, I don't know, the crazy thing with you, it's like whenever I message you, it seems like you're always awake. It's like I mess you, like, whoa, he messes me right back, like within seconds. I'm like, wow, that was fast. Like, usually if I message somebody in the States, it's like I have to wait a while, and then you're like, oh, they're probably asleep right now, you know, that sort of thing. But anyway, so you always stay up all the time, and then you made some vlog where you're like really tired, and then you made some comment like, oh, I can hear the birds. I can hear the birds, and Betamax DC, a YouTuber we talked about earlier, made a reaction video making fun of you, saying that you could hear the birds. Yeah, it's not so funny once you explain it. You kind of had to be there, but anyway.
Yeah. It's not as funny as I think what I said was, oh, I think I hear the birds, and I just cut the video.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It stemmed from that.
Yeah, yeah.
You told the story. But yeah, no, I don't like making people wait for messages. If I wake up and I'm like, I see it, I just shoot it back. So hopefully it's coherent. If I'm like half asleep, usually it is. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. Simple shit.
Right.
Where were we before that?
Well, you're talking about Babymetal, and you're saying that like you met one of your friends met them happenstance or something in Shibuya.
No, I was in Izakaya and.
Oh, Izakaya, that's right. What was in Izakaya? Wait, who was there?
Yep.
Babymetal was all in the Izakaya when you arrived. Is that what you're saying?
Not all of them, just the drummer at that time filling in. So, yeah, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I didn't talk to him. Seemed like a really nice person. I said hi.
So wait a minute, it was like one of these random celebrity encounters. It's like, hey, that's the guy who does Babymetal. That's it?
Yeah, and we nodded. But regardless of the language, like, I think that's commonly seen community where even if you don't know the language as much, it's just, or you do, you simply nod, throw your horns up, and it's all good.
How long have you been playing metal instruments?
Let's see. I picked up the guitar when I was 15, but I played the piano when I was like 8 or 9. No one taught me. It was like simple shit where I'm like, oh, this is Star Wars theme.
Right.
That kind of stuff. Imperial March or one of the other songs. I should know it because if it's in front of me, I can play it. But guitar, I was never taught. I've had a couple people try to teach me, but I just learned from ear. So
really, okay. Not everybody can
Yep.
do that. So you're kind of self-taught in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it did pay off that I spent, like, whether when I wasn't working and when I wasn't at school, I spent at least 8 hours a day in my room. There was no TV, just a boombox, a guitar, an amp with a metal zone, and some people, other guitarists will know that pedal, and literally just playing and playing and playing and trying to figure out tabs, trying to figure out how to play my favorite songs.
Right. Okay.
Dedication.
All right.
With anything, if you dedicate yourself, you can pick up some cool stuff.
Right. So you also have a podcast called Beast from the East.
Yep.
And do you often sometimes, because I notice you put a lot of your music on there as well.
The music, I haven't put my own. I did put, like, I didn't do reaction videos. I did reaction podcasts. It sounds very ridiculous, but I was in the middle of drinking, and I'm like, fuck it, I don't care. Plus, if I do it on YouTube, I'm like, I just don't want to get hit. At least on the SoundCloud, it's like, I talk to the artists, and I let them know. Like, case in point, Headphone Presidents, they know about it. I actually had two of the members when I was in From Dusk Till Dawn in Shinjuku. Just briefly say something. It's very short. I figured, hey, get them on, show them, and let people know about them, because I'd like to bring them over, and I figured any way I can help people learn about them will be beneficial for all parties. Not that they need my help, but just doing on the podcast, it's another way someone can quickly click, listen, and it's all good. Like, I did one with Niganisu, not them, but that one.
Who?
I want to say viral, but it's got more hits than any of mine.
Who is this?
Niganisu.
Who is that?
Niganisu, for people that know, they're pretty much the Black Sabbath of Japan. Not
okay,
compare,
I've never heard of them.
You listen to it and you're like, oh, I see. The name loosely is off Rupamo. I might be butchering the writer's name, Rupapor. It's based off a horror novel. The name means human chair. So I believe you can look up human chair if you don't know how to spell Niganisu or do the kanji. But check them out. They're fucking awesome. The one band I really, really want in the documentary.
Right. Well, let me ask you something. How would you compare Japanese metal to, like, American metal?
Comparing them, it's a different vibe. I'll compare it this way, where you have, let's say, a lot of people know about the big four: Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax.
Those are the big four? Okay. I don't know. I'm like metal illiterate, so please educate me.
Yeah, so the big four: Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax. Big four.
Right.
Most of them are from California, around the Bay Area. Anthrax from New York. So if you actually sit down and listen to both of them, you'll notice a difference between the East Coast and West Coast style, but it's the same in the sense that it has a spirit. And that's how I compare like American metal to the metal over in Japan, like, yeah, it's a different vibe, like, but it's still the feeling. Like, you got bands like Kultsu, they're pretty much all like about the samurai spirit in their songs and everything, and it's like death and thrash, but like the vibe is the same, where the sound's different, but the feeling's there. Like, they're brutal, they're fucking awesome, they're very musically talented. And then you got bands like from Osaka, Palm, which has a kind of a little bit grindcore and hardcore feel, which you would see with some bands like, I was going to say The Crown, but they're more thrash, and they're not American. But you get the picture. So, like, you got all these bands, they're all showing the spirit, but they're bringing a different style to the game from their own culture.
Huh. All right. So from what it sounds is the music's just kind of cultural, or that's the one comparison you can kind of, or not comparison, difference you could draw from that.
Yes.
But basically, kind of the vibes are the same, and the feeling like, oh yeah, this is totally metal music. Like when you put it on, like you throw a CD on, and you're like, oh okay, yeah. This is there anything that like makes you say, ah, this is definitely from Japan? Like without listening to the lyrics, without listening to like the, what is it? Hearing Japanese voices or whatever.
There's a couple things that come to mind. The bass playing, honestly, they really put that in front of the mix, but it doesn't drown out everyone else or any guitars or drums. It's like everything meshes just right. It's not overly produced, although there are bands that are, regardless of where they're from. But it's the melody. You can tell certain
the
melody. For new people new to listening to metal, they might not tell from a lot of bands like that sing in English. They're like, oh, they're from Japan, which has happened where I'd play like Outrage or United to my friends, and they're like, what? I didn't know they had thrash over there. And they're like, okay, I get it, and yeah, I want to listen to them more. And it opens the door.
Huh. All right.
Hopefully, I wasn't getting off topic.
No. That's interesting. We have a couple of one question in the chat. Are there any? I don't know what this means. Do you know Opeth like bands in Japan? Can you explain to me what this means? I'm like,
yeah. Shit. I should have saw that one coming. I'm trying to think.
What is Opeth? Is that an American band? I'll have to look it up.
I think they're from the UK. Opeth.
I'll Google it for you.
I think the closest I can think of off the top of my head, but they sound more Swedish death metal, Invictus. If you look them up, the stuff just came on iTunes recently, which it's been held to find some of their stuff, which sucks. So if I can actually plug a place, if you don't mind me, a lot of people looking for some metal where it's a little harder to come by from Amazon, even Amazon Japan.
Yeah, no. You gotta share that resource. What is it?
Rock Stock Records. They're great. They're out of Osaka. The guy that owns it, good friend. I'm trying to think of the other one. Hit me up on any of you. Hit me up on Twitter, and I'll post a bunch of links to places that you can actually get this stuff.
Right. All right. So I
Because
checked.
I want people to actually hear a lot of these bands.
Okay. So I checked Google, and it says Opeth is a Swedish progressive metal band from Stockholm. Huh. There's a lot of metal from Sweden, it seems.
Yes.
What's
Like-
that? What's that? Oh, wrong camera. What's that one band? What are they called? They wanted to make a movie about them. It's like called Lords of Chaos. Why can't I remember their name? Was it
I
Mayhem?
think
Like,
it's Mayhem.
like, 'cause they had a huge metal scene in Sweden, and like some of it got out of hand or something, and then I don't know the
with
whole
church
story.
burnings, killings, and all that.
Killings and
I'm not
stuff like
huge
that.
into black metal. I'm not huge into black metal. I do like some black metal bands. Here's actually a band from Japan that if you like black metal and progressive stuff, Infernal Sin.
Okay.
Amazing. They do put their stuff out for people to buy, where they have this site dedicated where if you're in Europe or in America, you can actually buy this stuff and they will send it. Right now, it's a little harder given the circumstances with Japan Post.
Mm-hmm.
So only place I've actually seen come out where they'll send stuff is DHL. That's the
Okay.
only- because I was lucky to get Outrage's latest CD, and I'm waiting for Fates. They're from Nagoya. Amazing
Right.
band. They're more rock.
Oh, okay. Well, let me ask you this. So, like, you seem to know a lot of metal bands in Japan. Like, what's, like, the best resource to, like, finding new bands and everything? Because mostly, like, when it came to me about finding new music, I'd have to ask, like, a person I'm a friend with, and they'd always give me, like, a huge collection of, like, new bands I've never heard of. Like, ones you can't even find on the internet, you know?
Yeah. Part of Metal Archives.
I guess if you can't
Don't
find them on the
almost
internet, what are you
update.
doing with your life? Especially nowadays.
Yeah, Metal Archives is pretty awesome. Almost a Discord. This guy, I'm trying to think of. It's like you could buy like demos of bands from back in the day when they put them out. I'm trying to think of the site because I bought Caspa, United's demo. I can't think of the name of the site. But Metal Archives, you can find it. It is, if you go on eBay, it's going to be a pain in the ass.
Okay.
Because people are gonna ask for a lot of money. Like I've seen Jurassic Jade albums go up for $150 for EP, and that's fucking ludicrous. You go to the site I told you, I wouldn't doubt that they would have the album, and you won't be paying out your ass for a EP or a CD. Because a lot of these bands, like I spoke to Infernal Repulsion, they're like, that's ridiculous. Someone would like try to charge that because we should be getting the money.
Right.
I've seen like shirts go on eBay for $150 for just death metal band, and I'm like, fuck that shit. Like I buy it straight from the band, support the band. Email them. Sometimes they'll respond and be like, yeah, we'll sell it to you. No problem. But, hit the bands up because that's what I've done. And that works. You show them, like, hey, I'm willing to drop the money. I don't mind what the shipping is. That's okay. And that's going to help a lot of these bands nowadays, especially what's going on, because they're not in the live houses. And they're not doing shows. So... And even in live houses, they're putting stuff up. So go support that because it does a lot of good. Because maybe one day you actually go to Japan and you're like, fuck, I get to check these bands out. and it's an easy way to support them if you can't afford to go, but you're still showing love.
Right. Okay. Well, let me ask you this. This is usually something I ask at the beginning of every show, because I'm always curious about people's online personas. So wait a minute. Why is your name Apocalypse, and why 34? Was there 33 others of you? I have to ask.
Well, what I said back in the day, because I got asked that. The 34, I just picked a random number. I'm like, sure, fucking 34. I don't fucking care.
Why, because you just wanted to be known as Apocalypse? That's it?
Yeah, also, it is my band's name, and I know a lot of people...
Oh, okay.
But we're actually working on something. Mainly, I'm working on something. We do have a bass player. I'm working with a couple drummers in Japan. I've been talking to a couple artists, talk about just setting up a show when the doors open up, when I can take a vacation and see what happens, you know. Just have fun, because a lot of bands, like, they want to help me and help the band. And I really want to play there. It's one of my dreams, one of my things on my bucket list. I hate saying bucket list because it sounds like I'm fucking old as fuck, and I'm only 35. But
old enough.
I actually did an interview with a band a couple of nights ago for the podcast, which hopefully I'll be uploading later this week.
Okay.
I don't have an intro for my podcast right now. But
yeah, I probably need to have some, like, music or jingle. I was putting it up on Twitter. I'm like, should I have a jingle for this thing? I mean, do you like jingles, Mike? Or should I say Apocalypse?
Like, if you like, go for it. I'm talking to the DC. So maybe something will happen. Maybe we'll do another collab.
Does he still make music, DC?
Yeah.
Okay, I think maybe he's posted some of it, but it's like he gives, after he fell off the map, what is this, 2010? 2011? I don't remember, but basically he just kind of disappeared for a couple of years, and I guess I disappeared as well, but I didn't know if he was still making music or not. Yeah? You had a little hiatus? We probably all kind of did. I mean, now that we're kind of making this longer form content, because everybody on YouTube seems to be like, they're giving the green light to all these celebrity channels and music videos, and now it's like I have to go to places like here, Twitch. I guess it sounds like I'm complaining, but I mean, being a smaller creator, you always have to kind of find your way, your niche. I don't know.
Yeah. Honestly, I've been talking about making a comeback. I know Unrested did one, which I was like, oh, I didn't even know he...
Well, that was just recently, though. You're talking about his recent comeback, right?
Yeah, he's come back a bunch of times, and I'm not slamming him.
That's true.
He's got a family, so he's pretty busy, dude. I'm
guessing it was like kind of the same feeling like with me. I just lost interest in it for a while.
Yeah, I was going through some shit, and I also decided to just focus and just do the documentary. Like, I think the last couple people I was interacting with on there, probably Q Ranger, maybe
okay.
Kev. Like, he was talking about doing an interview with me years ago. Victor was talking about it too.
Like for his podcast or something? Like Just Japan Podcast? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I don't think it was that.
Oh, okay.
I think it was like, I think they were talking about it. Or talking to me about it, but it never happened. It's all good. Whatever. But honestly, I think the most recent, I'm trying to think of her name, like Tokaoki or something like that. He's on Twitch.
All right.
Is it?
I don't know.
I've watched her videos, like not all of them. One
okay.
Or, like 2.
That one, I can't remember. I watched all of her videos. What's that girl's name again?
No,
I was giving you shit. Anyway, continue.
No, it's all good. I'm fine. But I'm trying to think of any other YouTubers in the community. I can't think of any yeah, like her name escapes me right now. But it got a little like boring when people kept on, oh, let's check out a vending machine again. Okay.
Oh yeah, because YouTube got very redundant.
And I get it. It's like Stan Lee says, you got to treat everything like it's someone's first comic book.
Who says this? Wait, who?
Stanley.
Stanley? Stan Lee?
Yeah, Stan the Man Lee.
Oh, okay. All right. Wait, what do you have to treat everything like it's a comic book?
Like it's someone's first comic book when they're opening like a video or a story.
Oh, okay. All right. So you kind of, it's kind of basically what he's saying is just be patient. Is what you're saying. Like, don't judge a book by its cover, sort of thing, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And I know it seems judgy because I'm like, oh, it's another vending machine. I just click off if I don't want to watch it. Like, it is. Anyone's.
Right. Okay. Well, I've been trying to get Betamax DC on this channel. Do you think you could push him for me? I'm sure some people would like to see this interview. Because you were talking about wanting to interview him and me at the same time, right?
Yeah, I was actually, well, I wouldn't say half-jokingly, but I was like, oh, that'd be interesting. Have both of you on there. Because it'd basically be shooting the shit, just busting chops, and just doing something like back in the day. Not chasing back in the day, but just talking. Sorry, dog in the background.
Freaking dog. Whose dog is this? Well, I should probably mention, if anybody who's watching, where are you streaming from? You're in Massachusetts, right?
No.
Boston? No, you're not in Boston? Where are you? Connecticut?
Nah, I'm not.
I know you're on the East Coast.
I don't have any wall buggers.
I forgot where. Forgive me.
I'm in Connecticut.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Connecticut.
All right.
So, East Coast. But about DC, it should be a fun podcast.
Oh wait, has he agreed to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, because I talked to him and he was just sort of like, yeah, I just gotta work with my schedule, man. I don't know. And usually when people tell me stuff like that, that either means A, well, they're not going to be on the show for a long time, or B, they're just not in the mood to be interviewed.
I can't answer for him.
Right. No, it's fine. I mean, people. I always say they do you, and you do me, and we all do each other.
That sounds kind of pervy.
Yeah. It's some good poetry there.
Yeah. Stop going on Pornhub, Redry. No.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It is the quarantine, and premium is free.
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know? You don't read about this stuff? All right.
Nah, you don't have to read the internet. It just shows up.
You don't read the internet? All right.
No, now I'm going to be quoted as that. And I didn't even have any Jaeger today.
Okay, it's all right.
But anyways, no, I've been talking about interviewing for some time, but it's not going to be like an interview like, it's going to be laid back, kind of like this.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a couple other interviews coming up. Like, I did an interview with, the girl the woman that's going to be helping translate the documentary.
Okay.
Because granted, this year it's not going to happen. Well, translation, yes, but not showcasing it because right around supposed to be back in Japan and finishing filming. I was hoping to get Aldous and Ganisu and a couple other bands in it, but right now it's in the works, given the circumstances. And then I was planning October to, screen it around Shinjuku.
Sounds like you're quite
I'm not
busy
gonna say
there.
where.
You should try, what is it, Uplink Theater? They seem to take a lot of indie people. I don't know if they'd be taking, well, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure what their deal is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look into it. But I was going to do it for the bands primarily first, and then see if anyone wants to come. Like, if you're in an area, you're more than welcome to come down.
All right. Well, I guess this will be the next time you're in Japan, right?
Depending on the schedule, and I'm trying to get a few more bands in the documentary, and I know a lot of people are like, how many bands do you need? You'd be surprised how much you can do in, like, I'm shooting for 90 minutes. So, and for a lot of the errors of the extreme to the beginning, or the beginning to the extreme side that's coming out now.
Right. Okay. Well, all right, Apocalypse Michael, or however you want me to call you. I am out of questions. Is there anything you want to say before we go? Or is there anything else you want to talk about?
Given what's going on, if you can and you want to support the scene and want to know more about it, hit me up on Twitter, Apokalypse34. From there, you can look up Facebook, Rising Steel Production. Give the page a like. If you don't, that's totally fine too.
Rising Steel Production. Okay, I didn't know about this one. Maybe you gave it to me and you told me to like it, and I never liked. Maybe I liked it. I don't know.
I
I'm
never
like,
push it on anyone.
Okay.
Granted, I'm talking about it right now. So basically, primarily, that is like to share if there's events going on.
Yeah.
And talk to a lot of bands and, try to set up some touring. Given right now, it's kind of like, it happening. But there are some things in works for 2021.
Okay, and particularly the documentary, or you have like no idea when that's coming out?
The documentary, I wanted to be out into film festivals this year, but I'm kind of missing a couple things, and I don't feel it would be right if I streamline it and I'm like, well, I'm missing this and that. I would have to make a part 2, and
right.
I think that would kind of, I'm trying to think of the word.
It would ruin it?
Not ruin it.
Okay.
It'd be like, oh, we're
make
back
it
to the
longer than it really needs to be?
Yeah, because right after this, I'm talking to some bands and management in South Korea. So I'm working on doing a documentary on the metal scene over there, too.
All right.
So there's some news. But,
wait, so how much footage of this do you have that you need to, like, edit down to the 90 minutes? If you had to, like, make a guesstimation, what would you say?
At least 10 to 12 hours.
10 to 12 hours? Okay. That's a hefty amount, like, there.
Yeah, and B-roll, and a bunch of stuff. Like, I went into filming it. I'm like, I'm gonna film as much as possible.
Okay.
So, and I like bonus footage anyways, and you know, I really want to make sure I cover a lot of things. Like,
right.
This isn't gonna be one of those days where it's gonna be, it's not gonna be like. I'm trying not to shit on one that's came out that kind of shit out. I want to.
Well, this is the shit on show, so go right ahead. No, I don't know. I mean, if you want to protect their identity, that's fine with me.
There's been a couple bands that I've talked to where they got interviewed and were asked to certain documentary filmmakers, which I think is shitty. And they didn't even get on the film.
Okay.
And if they did, it was kind of like it didn't really showcase them as much as they should have, because they're pretty awesome at what they do.
Yeah.
And great musicians. Anyways. So I want this to shed light, and it's going to be more guerrilla style, where it's going to be like, okay, this is going to be a nitty gritty. No bullshit. You're going to hear some stories that people are just going to get surprised about. And
all right, man. Well,
maybe in the next.
Yeah. Next year, right? Or this year? Or you don't know when exactly?
Probably next year, 2021. Because I want to screen it over in Japan first.
All right, man.
I got a distributor I'm talking to over in Japan.
Sounds great, man. Well, yeah. So everybody be on the lookout for that when it comes out. But yeah, you know where you can follow Apokalypse34 Michael.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, Mike. You hate the name Michael?
No, I never said that. It just sounds like I'm gonna get called in the principal's office.
Do I have a very principal tone to myself? To me? To my face?
Not really.
Not really? Okay. All right.
No, you're a good guy.
All right, then. Well, yeah, so next time on the show is Unrested, the YouTuber, Scott. He's made another comeback. He'll be on the show, I don't know when, to be announced. Sometime either Saturday or Sunday. Actually, I think I booked him on Saturday. Or maybe it was Sunday. I'll have to check my schedule. Just check out my Twitter. It'll be up on there if you want to see. So, until then, I'm Radry, and
I'm Apokalypse Mike. Stay metal.
See ya. Oh, and hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Jesus, man.